accommodation that we've seen being a bit of a priority across the region. Let's see what they get in the bottom lane, or
I love this.
rather somewhere else. Yeah, Jamada, this could also be a flex.
Yeah, I love this because not only does it work as a flex, but if it ends up in the top side, then it does really well into the Renekton, and it can also kind of survive a lot of the Renekton Elise dives. Just simply through hitting the W key, you get a lot of that damage reduction, and typically it's just kind of hard to dive Gragas just because not only is he quite beefy, but he just has the correct kind of CC and kit to deal with a dive. So we'll see whether or not Ala ends up piloting and whether or not this is Jiejie. Either way, you already have an ADG composition, which is very hard to get on top of because of the range, but also now has a whole bunch of non-committal disengage tools for the Gragas as well. So RA building a very, very neutral team composition to try and work around what RA's working with, which is a lot of forward movement and a lot of aggression from the Elise, Renekton, and Nanny.
It makes sense that EDG banned Illusion against them, right? Because that fits into that category. I'm kind of wondering what Sssum will be left with, because Jamada, if we're talking about short range, do you complement with long in the bottom side? Do you go through something like Nila as an opportunity for Sssum? Like, how do you look to complement this with what EDG are banning away?
I mean, I feel like you've got not too many crazy options. I think especially when you're going into a Varus in lane, you don't want to go something that's too much in the scaling department because then you might end up getting slammed.
True.
However, you do have Elise, so you know she is pretty much the queen at the moment of controlling the pace and the tempo of the early game. It's very hard to out-skirmish that. I feel like with Zeri, Lucian gone, what could you really think of? Caitlyn still up and available and kind of fits that niche of being able to stand up to Varus in the laning phase and has a really strong mid-game, and that mid-game power trough isn't really there anymore because of the IE changes. So second IE is always alright. You could... No, Aphelios kind of sucks here as well. I'm not really too sure what Sssum could... Jhin, yeah, you could look for the range there, play a little more utility-based, let RA advance forward whilst you try and set up with the curtain call and the deadly flourishes. Jhin could be the option, but
Jayce and Gragas is probably just not the greatest idea.
Yeah, I think what we're alluding to here is that Sssum is likely not gonna have a good time because the amount of picks up and available for a situation like this are kind of limited. I wouldn't mind seeing the Caitlyn. I think it probably makes the most sense given the situation that RA are in, and it seems like they're also just going to straight up send it with this Lux. So it will be Strive on the Annie mid. Now EDG have the opportunity to get a counter pick in, and I feel like the options are aplenty. They are lacking a little bit of sort of follow-up or hard engage to what Gragas and Gnar can potentially provide, and I feel like even though you might suffer at the level 1 and the level 2, you could go towards something like that Leona, or we could just get Meiko on the Jhin. Heimerdinger's also still up and available as well for a bunch of poke. I think it's kind of up to him, and he's going to land on Leona.
Okay, it's 13.3. Like, the fact that we've walked away from AD bots a little bit, or double AD bots, I should say, is nice. But Meiko, you never put it past him with things like the Lissandra support even showing in the LPL before. So you said that EDG have firmed this up with a bit of hard engage, reliable engage. I like that word as well. Walk me through EDG's composition, because this time around we do have a bit of lane priority mixed in with, I think you talked about disengage potential and the ability to kind of control their fights a bit.
Yeah, so I feel like that same spacing potential is there because you're running the Varus with the Jayce this time. Oh, yeah. And you can just kind of play at max range with the arrows or the shock blasts. And this time, if RA, who have
up against LNG in our match of the week later on, it comes down to this game. A 2-0 would be that tie in game difference, in game score rather, and in series score. EDG would be tied second. And for a team that lost both Scout and Viper in the same split, and hell, even Flandre is worth considering when, you know, Spring he had a glorious performance. Those three members gone, and it just felt like EDG had no hope in hell of being within maybe the top 8, the top 6, I should say, as they're considered a playoff team, but just barely. But Jamada, it's just been such a surprising split for me, personally.
Yeah, absolutely. And they have, of course, the wins against JDG, RNG as well, don't forget. 2-0'd them all the way back. I think it was in week 3. BLG 2-0 as well, off the top of my head. So EDG are doing just fine against some of the sort of perceived stronger teams. It's only really top esports where they've kind of tripped up, and even then they could have arguably won that series as well.
Yeah. Again, it was also against IG that EDG took a very surprising loss. I think that's when IG were not really figured out.
IG1 had them figured out too. I feel like that first patch in the LPL was kind of excellent for IG. I think now that we've moved on to 13-3, it seems like the building blocks have shifted over a little bit, and not only have teams kind of figured out how to play against IG, they've also gone through that really rough patch of basically playing against all of the other top teams, which they're not quite at the caliber yet to consistently contest, but they have shown us IG. They are capable of making some magic happen. I'm sure if that roster stays together, that we could, even for you, because I know you're at heart an IG fan, see a resurgence in the long run.
As center play connects, meanwhile on the bottom lane, there's a flash and ignite. Southwind without any summoners now. Good poke here as Meiko gets the all-in, only burns the ignite. That's just a net win for EDG's bot.
Yeah, and you know the alarm bells are ringing. Leon immediately comes down here off the 3 camps and just clears that ward. He's going to try, likely, to get a little bit of information out of this jungle. And yeah, you can see Jiejie knows it's going to happen. And I actually really love Jiejie's pathing this game. It's super defensive. Raptors into those 2 blue and Gromp camp because he knows something like this could happen. And now all of a sudden, he's pretty safe in clearing the rest of his jungle. And he should, if he feels like the bottom side would get dived, be able to cover it as well. But he sees Leon going towards the top side of the map. And now this could potentially open up a bot side gank. However, really, really nice cheatery call from Sssum and Southwind means that that's also covered as well.
Okay, so nice humming as you say. Note that that ward was what also get a bit of information towards mid to play it safe as Leyan is taking the back route into top lane. But once again, EDG will have the ward here if he decides to hang around and try, but he could turn into a dive as Leyan needs to hit the cocoon. Arla trying to play around as he flashes, hops out. He's out, but the summoner is what Leyan came for.
Yeah, exactly. You get the summoner. Mini Gnar, super easy to dive. It's not really a lot of base resistances to work with. Meanwhile, Jiejie will get spotted out. But at the very least, RA, they actually have their chance at aggression in the early game, unlike game number 1. And Arla's just being forced away from so many creeps here. And if he steps past that ward, you could even see Leon just come back. The wave is quite thin, however, so you won't actually see it come to fruition on this wave at the very least, as he's going to go and take away that red buff because they spotted out Jiejie on the bottom side.
And I mean, not even that, but think about the cross trade here. Jiejie only has the Raptor camp to take himself. Top side camp for Leyan, all 3 were available. He took Krugs, took red. Not going to take Raptors now, but it's just a net positive win here for RA in the early game. And Strive is just walking into big old bomber. He flashes over the wall, belly to the face, and Annie's like, ow, has to walk out of there with some pretty dangerous pathing for himself.
Yeah, what I will say to a counterpoint is not that jungle XP really matters in this meta, but that was technically the second respawn for Jiejie that he stole away. So, you know, pros and cons. However, Leon got 2 camps out of it. So, you know, it's still an uptrade for RA no matter how you look at it for now. And again, the fact that they're actually able to force Arla off of a couple of waves and set him into a position where he's a little bit uncomfortable into this Renekton, where you expect Elise to consistently play around it, is still a positive sign for the side of RA.
Well, look, for RA again, Jamada, run me through a bit more. Is it pretty much the exact reverse? I know we don't have as hard scaling as obvious as game 1, but you were saying in draft that there's a lot of all-in, there's a lot about how this jungle plays out. It does feel like if RA don't come out with leads in these lanes, we are going to be concerned, kind of like we would have been for EDG.
Yeah, because frankly, they just don't really have the team fighting, you know, components that EDG do. They've got, you know, decent side laning potential that technically should get outscaled by Gnar, so it's kind of whatever on the side lane. It's more about kind of this wombo combo potentially from Strive and trying to look for picks through a lot of their CC that they have. So RA need to try and build lane leads to then turn that into vision denial, so that EDG have to consistently check into Fog of War, and then they can use their skills like the light binding, the cocoon, and just existing to create numbers advantages to then create larger map advantages.
It's going to be hard to do with the current state as Meiko starts moving around with Jiejie already. The support jungle sync up for EDG. Yet again showing its face in a very positive light as Sssum and Southwind keep looking for emphasis in this bottom lane. But Lev and Meiko aren't really falling too far behind. In fact, CS is pretty neck and neck at the time being as Leyan goes for invade part number 2. Takes the blast cone, finds nothing. Lev gets cleanse out. Thanks to, I believe, Southwind getting a light binding in the bottom side. So we are looking at RA being a bit more proactive as, hey, let's go. On to FoFo. Leyan just shows again.
Yeah. This feels quite bad for Leyan, not being able to find any impact on any of these lanes so far. He could even run into Jiejie very temporarily. Be a little bit of damage, but everyone's missing their skill shot. Jiejie, oh, hold on.
Okay. Simmer. Yeah, at least they get dragging off of it, but yeah, that's something for Southwind, but Jiejie was caught out.
Yeah, wasn't paying attention. Neither was I, to be fair, to Sssum in the first win. First win, Southwind having first move, so it's the first wins to the river.
Northwind, yeah.
And they will secure the dragon off the back of the fact that they're able to force out the flash from Jiejie. So at least a positive sign for now, but it's not quite the, you know, large or looking to be impactful lane leads that you would hope to find. Even Arla has kind of recovered the CS deficit that he found himself in. He missed almost 2 waves right now.
True.
He's only down like 8 CS, so he's not really going to be feeling it too much.
Oh, zoning from the cannon.
That's so
-1. Yeah, nicely done. But look, you're right. Look, Arla should be so much further behind. And I think, you know, audience might be listening like, oh, but it's the same in reverse. Like, EDG didn't have a massive gold lead at this point in the game just yet, but as Lightbinding connects onto the flashless Gragas, it all just started unloading and developing like RA have done now with Burst Blood over to Southwind off a really good pick.
There you go. All right, no flash because you blew it earlier. Now there's the Herald up and available. You're seeing Leon beeline towards that. Cube up in the top side as well is likely going to just try and take some priority. Southwind does the same thing alongside Strive in the mid lane, and they still have Strive's ultimate available, and he can just sit and fog a wall with that passive up. And if anyone approaches, you can just unload onto them, chunk them out, force them back. So there should be RA's Herald to take. And now finally, we can start to potentially see some forward movement, some proactivity come out from the side of RA, as Strive is actually making a move towards the top side. Arla.
Molten shields out, he gets some movement speed. Here comes Tibbers! Join in the party as Arla gonna get it disintegrated, and killed for Strive's first kill.
Yeah, really, really nice move from Strive. I assume that Arla's just thinking that Strive is simply helping Leyan with the Herald at the moment as he dipped into fog, but you can see he just makes the full roam up towards the top side. He sees that Arla's overextending. And RA, they get the pick, they get the Herald. There was also a pick that started off that sequence of plays. However, I want to say it seems like FoFo has answered out quite heavy-handedly in the mid lane through the plates, and he's actually up 400 gold with a CS lead, despite Strive finding that kill.
Man, it's still, though, a much better start for RA. It's still a 1k gold lead, though, and despite EDG finding something across the map in terms of those plates towards mid, 3 of them, in fact, as well, RA's bottom lane getting plates themselves. That kill we just saw on the top side was big. And the fact that, you know, they've got direction this time around, the fact that Leyan is actually having an early game here on this Elise is great to see, as he's walking around Jamada, trying to find plates for the Herald, or at least try to be a nuisance. Like, Jiejie gonna spot him out. Give me my blue buff back.
This is mine. This isn't yours. I think the upgraded smite is actually available for Leon, but not for Jiejie, though. However, blue buff isn't going to be pulled out of vision or anything, so it will just go over to Jiejie. Seems like Leon didn't really want to commit too much to that.
Got it now. At the very least, Jiejie was able to get 2 stacks. So half the way there with blue buff going down, but we come back to mid and Leyan has dropped the Herald. It's going to be shared with him and Strive, and there should be an extra plate going down as well. So quite a bit of gold here for the mid jungle duo of RA. It's going to be perfect timing, Jamada, because RA should have their first items coming soon. About a minute 45 before this second dragon that is just going to push them into such a good standing as Leave. Hang on, final spark's not up yet.
Yeah, Leave got quite heavily chunked out there. Not entirely sure how the start of that trade actually went down. I imagine it could have been something like a trap or a light binding. Arla's just going to push Cube back. He doesn't have flash or ult. Woo! Just looking potentially for FoFo to come in and clean that up. Jiejie's also here.
He is.
But Dominus is available, and Jiejie's just going to return to picking up the crop here from RA's jungle.
I guess EDG, as you were, putting it, like, this team is going to be able to play again with a lot of space and be able to use their range a bit as Zenflade doesn't connect in the bottom side. Not in any hurry, where RA consistently trying to push up the tempo as Leyan now setting up for the dive, but even though Strive comes down, Jiejie's gone missing. They don't know where he is on the map, and Meiko, Zenflade, a little bit late there. Not going to stop Leyan.
I think if that was like a frame earlier, I've seen it happen before. I don't know if it's been patched or if it still happens, but there are certain interactions where, for example, with Warwick Q, if you hold it, I hold the point. Good cleanse from Sssum.
Whoa, Zenith
pretty much a Captain Jack.
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty quick, hey? I've seen jankier Zenith Blades land, though, from Meiko. He's unlucky that one doesn't connect. So bottom side, they're able to get a summon of their Jamada, but it does mean that with the back timing, they should be able to get a little bit more like plates. You know what? Forget top side. No one's really dying yet.
Yeah, no one's really dying up here. But yeah, if Meiko landed that a little bit earlier, could have just flown all the way to RA's base. I think I've seen it happen before. It's like when you hit the Thresh hook and Thresh goes back and the target goes back to base, and there's that brief moment you can just recast it and go to the moon. Fortunately, Meiko didn't hit that.
I remember when in season 1 or whatever, you could cast Darius Apprehend and take everyone with the base. That famous clip of the pentakill from an Darius start. It's spacing as no time for story time apparently, because this looks like a fight. Jiejie's in position. Explosive cuffs. Sends out Sssum at the flash, but this time the Zenith play does connect. Jiejie sacrifices life for this. Is first to die with Timbers on the run. Oh, bear versus bear, and it looks like this Grizzly won it for now. Jiejie surviving. He must have been on like 5 HP because he's only on 28 as he backs away.
Timbers has been hitting the gym recently because that last slap unfortunately didn't quite take down Jiejie. Like you said, he had to have been on single-digit HP. As up here now, as RA secure that second dragon. Cube, as we continually pan up here, seems to be getting the better end of a fair amount of these trades, but it's not necessarily the massive lead that you would like to see when you have that Elise paired up with the Renekton. Get a replay here as it's just the retreat from the dragon. Jiejie slips in to this side brush. Cask is excellent onto Leyan, or onto Sssum rather, and there's just no cleanse. It was blown earlier. And take a look at that slap. Oh, it's definitely single digit. As we come out of the replay, Allo.
They're looking for the turn here, but Change Corruption not going to connect because into the repel. Soul Flare though, so good from Meiko. Leyan burned! Meiko, that was glorious, and surviving for both of them after the pick. That's just the cherry on top.
Yeah, EDG, they swing back a couple of kills in their favor. They might have lost out on some of these neutrals, but starting to win out on a couple of these skirmishes now. We'll see how much that comes to assist them. As, again, I feel like it's EDG that kind of have the draft edge in terms of how the team fights can really be played out and some of the flexibility available to them, whereas RA 5v5ing isn't really the MO of this team composition. It's, again, it's about finding picks off of you know, the range CC they have available and then creating numbers advantages. That's how you really win out on RA's side. EDG, they can just play a lot more, you know, front to back, find the poke, find these flanks, find engages. They can kind of do a bit of everything like this.
Meiko's coming in. He just used the Hexgate to get here. His Solar Flare's not up, but he'll have everything he needs as Southwind gets launched into and dead. Then it's played over the wall. Meiko, one of the best supports in the LPL. He stays on EDG and he leads. This man, we salute 07, his Leona like no other.
His play there was so clean. Meiko does just about everything right, even down to prioritizing Southwind there in that situation, because he was about to dump his whole combo into Leave. If he doesn't kill Southwind in that moment, Leave loses so much more HP, and that 2v2 becomes a lot more precarious than it potentially looked to be. I think we're just going to get a replay of it, so never mind. It's actually how the original dive play comes out. Meiko almost caught out with the Zenith Blade, dodges him away from the light binding. Really nice repel to dodge out from the Chains of Corruption, but the chain TC is just so excellent, and Leave is able to get out all of the blighted stats, proc passive, and also cleanse and light binding on the back of the play. Really, really nice stuff. And yeah, Meiko again, just really strong sequence of plays there from the EDG support. Longest standing player here in the league,
you know,
right?
This guy, well, one of, right? 2014, like, or 2015, again, memory a little bit hazy, apologies fans, as this guy's been around through the death era of players. We've got another fight coming through. Soul Flare not going to connect, but Jiejie is out with the body slam over the wall. Cube has come in red hot as also believe teleport is available for Arla to join in, but EDG are backing off this objective. RA a little bit too strong for their liking. They will get themselves yet another neutral in this early game, but Jamada, we're looking at a replay in the bottom right. Slice and dice, and Arla had to burn a flash and almost got solo kill.
Yeah, Arla has done a pretty good job, all things considered. From the pressure he should have dealt with. I will say, however, massive CS lead did grow for him. I'm wondering where he found himself in this 40 CS deficit. Cube must have just, I don't know, forced him. It must have been a huge wave. Like 2.5, 3 waves. This Herald is going to get dropped in the mid lane, take out this tier 1. So RA is actually a fairly high value mid tier 1, because again, they really want to work off things like Fog War and range picks. So being able to maybe get you know, first move from the mid lane because they can shove these waves and catch them super high. Could pay off pretty heavy dividends, but EDG, again, I just feel like their team comp plays a lot better. That's what I'm talking about.
Flash Tibbers over the wall. Strive has done everything he needs to, but Jiejie's still not dead. Sssum couldn't get in. Meiko has to burn his flash to get on out safely as well. As Tibbers on a rampage, looks like something from Candy Crush. After spilling the juicy, Strive is unable to get exactly what he came for, but unfortunate from RA there, Jamada, right before Dragon as well.
Right before Dragon, they use quite a few strong tools, specifically the Tibbers. That Lux ult has a really short cooldown, so they're not too fussed about that. However, a lot was burned on the side of EDG. Their ult economy is not doing too great, and also Arla's about to time out of Gnar, so this flank's not the best. He also teleported onto a control ward, so they know he's there.
So this is already janky enough for my liking, as this third Dragon for RA is crucial. Would lead to stop point as Hexgate usage for Cube. In a great spot, I would say not. He dominant splashes into Leyan as the final spark. It might not matter. He's tanky enough for the massive lead over Arla. Getting out with the Hyper though, and an option as Meiko goes through. Will sacrifice his life. RA with a net advantage. After Cube's ballsy play turns great, but Arla's into Gnar again. He doesn't have flash and he's getting spotted out by RA. Dragon sitting there watching Jamada. There's EDG with a numbers disadvantage.
Yeah, and look at this poke as well from FoFo, from Leave. It's just so obnoxious to get on top of it because RA don't have forward-moving tools. They don't have a Leona, they don't have a Gragas, they don't have a Norm, they don't have a Lawless.
Oh, he gets disintegrated. Tibbers part 2. I swear we just saw this bear. As Leyan doesn't want to die to get the smite down, making sure he secures third Dragon here as that ulti almost kills FoFo. The final spark was close as well. EDG don't want to give it up, but I think they have no choice in the end, as well as Jiejie comes through and destroys Southwind. Flash, Sssum, cleanse, run after him. Arla getting the boomerang, about to go mega. It's run away for Sssum. He will fly. Phoenix fly is wrong team, but at the very least, I will say, running like a bird in game 2 is definitely RA's fight.
Oh yeah, take a breath. Hysterics, that was a massive sequence of plays. Holy moly, RA, they walk away with the Hextech Dragon just about, but it looked so janky from the side of EDG. It looked so scarfed, right? All those ultimates blown because the previous pick attempt from RA means that the 5v5 that actually ensues is kind of difficult, and they also can't lock down Cube here like they would potentially like to. And because of that, not only does it turn around and get a massive amount of damage unloaded onto Jiejie and give the setup for RA to pick him off, he almost makes it out as EDG on the bottom side of the fight have Leave and FoFo kind of forced away, but then eventually, as the clip unfolds, you can kind of just see so much poke that can't be answered out as RA eventually do manage to get themselves back on top of the Dragon.
I love Hex games because people die and then come back to the same fight like moments later.
Like Southwind's just not expecting him to be here yet.
He literally just died. So Jamada, that last fight, RA net positive, right? We've got a Dragon. It looks like RA as well. We're able to trade kills, at the very least. It didn't see the final score, but we do have so much damage coming out of this team with a gold lead that it does feel like RA have played the early game to more or less the point we're expecting.
Yeah, I think they played it well enough, right? To the point where they can kind of contest these skirmishes, and around those kind of situations, that's where they can thrive again, right? If they find the first pick and they're able to chunk out the first member, the team fights can look quite positive for RA, but if they ever approach them on a 5v5, you know, equal footings and equal grounds kind of level, it should be EDG that take some of these bigger wins away. And again, I think the other key criteria for RA is to ensure that they don't really eat too much poke from FoFo and Leave. That way they can definitely start to actually navigate a lot better.
Oh, Cube dodged a lot of that CC as Uldat's come out from Arla just to create some of the space in the bottom lane. I want to talk about some of these individual leads because it's a 50 CS lead mid, CS lead up at the top side as well with Cube, who just dominated that fight in a 1v4 or 2v4, however many in the end, made himself known. We also have a slight CS lead in the bottom lane for Leave over Sssum, so we are seeing some quite big laners come through out of the first 20 minutes of the game. And Jamada, we are getting 2 items as well. So I think it is crucial when we have people like Jayce, Varus, Annie as well, who will have full Rod of Ages stack with a Void Staff for that massive amount of burst. That we kind of keep track for this next fight because I think we are going to have, again, a lot of that burst that we've already seen on some of the rifts just hit some of its peak.
Yeah, some of that item spikes are going to be very, very crucial, and I think a little bit more so for EDG than RA, but even in that same breath, right, things like the IE can really turn Caitlyn into a mid-game headshot, one-shot machine, and I think that Void stuff when it gets completed is just going to amp up Annie's damage even more. So both these sides have to be quite cautious of the carry members of their respective teams. It's just more about how the setup actually ends up coming through in front of this dragon in 90-second time, because I think for the side of RA, if they can really get in there first and make it, you know, a void for EDG to walk into, then things can get kind of scary if, you know, FoFo leave. Hell, we've seen Jiejie get one shot once or twice already this game. Overstep, and all of a sudden it's a 4v5. All of a sudden RA have a massive advantage to play with, and EDG will find it quite difficult to play out the rest of the fight from there.
And I think, you know, some of those picks started off because of the Strive. Like, Strive has been playing great on this Annie, and Strive has been someone who, for RA's wins this split, has been really consistent. I think I'm surprised because Leyan and Cube are always what I look at with RA, but Strive has been more or less probably their best player in most series, and seeing him on the Annie again, a bit of a role taker this time around, as stunts have been crucial to forcing Jiejie out of some of these dragon fights that we're approaching now again. It's funny that we're saying the same about FoFo. As they walk into Fog of War deep, they thought they reset, they thought, oh, EDG can't be here as Cube tanks up the damage yet again. A great one, Meiko has to flash away. Tibbers now left in the middle. Oh, poor one out for Tibbers. There's 30 seconds to go for the dragon. Tibbers number 2 will be available, but RA almost lose everything from face checking too early.
Yeah, I was kind of concerned there for both sides. Honestly, I think we could have seen numbers drop, but fortunately for everyone involved, everyone walks away with their lives, and no major summoner spells are really blown. So we kind of just get a bit of a reset with EDG again. They have to go through the traps, the Lux poke. Always consider that Elise could be waiting in a brush, and Strive, he's got information, he's got flash.
Oh, it's beautiful. Onto Meiko, he's going to get the disintegrate, down he goes, but Leyan is met with a horrible fate, and that's FoFo with a shock blast over. A light binding connect from Southwind as he continues to zone, but Arla is in Mega Gnar and is now hit the peak of the back of the fight as RA are in this choke looking for themselves. An engage from Strive who has flash velvet, but no Tibbers. Arla's there, flushes into the wall. It's big, but Jiejie dealing with the cube in the back end. Arla's just nuked down. As Sssum now chasing after Jiejie. Meiko getting poked out as well. RA have advantage here, and there's no jungler to steal it. Jiejie was busy grocery shopping while RA were at the checkout.
I mean, yeah, RA just so happy to take, you know, this is the meal deal. This is the good stuff here for RA. They get themselves a Hextech Soul, and EDG, you know, they definitely approach it in the right kind of way, I think, trying to threaten multiple fronts. They have all the poke coming from the bottom side of the river. They've got Arla on the potential flank, and Jiejie are looking for the steal, but it's just a little bit too disjointed, and RA just stay uniform enough. And on top of the dragon, just pick it up, and now EDG have to contest this Hextech Soul for the remainder of the game. And it's the most powerful soul. It's the kind of soul that can kind of alleviate a lot of any scaling issues that you may run into a lot of the time. However, if they do finally speak onto Leyan.
Oh, okay. And the return, Southwind. He's feeling himself this game. As maybe Leyan's caught out here. Repel up with nowhere to go. His team's coming though as he flashes away the Cocoon. Great stride. He's here, but Tibbers doesn't connect. FoFo gets the flash away as Cube's being dealt with for Arla, but this is going to go horrendously. You're going to suffer a fate worse than death with EDG if you continue here in this choke, as Cube has to flash away, but now Tibbers is looking anxiously at EDG's further side. It could have been a lot worse, I'll tell you that much, Jamada, as Meiko seems like he's the only one to die.
Yeah, RA, they've come alive a little bit in the last 5 minutes or so. Previous dragon fight, this one, that skirmish there. EDG pick up Leyan. They can definitely look.
What the hell? This goes to
the teleporting croc. What is that?
Oh my gosh! Show us Cube again, man.
How did he do that?
Tibbers doesn't do it as well. Or Tibbers dies at cringe or something. I'm not sure. We'll look at the replay and see what happens here.
Yeah, so you can see EDG, like the initial call was definitely to go onto Leyan here, but unfortunately, you know, kind of get cut off by Strive showing up to that choke, and then the teleport comes in on the backside. Cube makes this super awkward, and the ultimate comes out from Arla to try and dissuade him from moving forward any further, but they're able to get onto Meiko as the rest of RA collapse. And unfortunately, EDG don't really find the pick they were looking for, and don't really get the best amount of summoners out of RA. I say it actually as I reassess, 4 summoners, 4 flashes did get blown.
Jamada,
So,
I know. I know it's a big fight coming up. I don't know we're talking about summoners. I just need to see Cube again, brother. I just care
Is
about
he still
nothing
teleporting
else.
across the map?
Is he?
No, he's back to walking.
It's fixed. All right, maybe just a spectator bug. We know Cube's not really moving like that. It'd be hard to play the game. And life binding coming out in Jamada. Look, you're building up to this fight coming up because Baron's there. RA have priorities. Meiko not hitting the solar flare. You were the chosen one. I literally talked you up all of early game. Unfortunately, with that miss, that solar flare down for a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Cooldown deceptively short sometimes. But with that cooldown being unavailable, Aria are going to start up this Baron. And again, you know, walking into fog, it's so scary.
Whoa.
Big Annie, but they can try and poke and prod. And Ala also is actually very close to Mega Nuts. Very scary for Aria.
Leave heading forward is dangerous. Look at the Caitlyn headshot. Sssum just obliterates Leave, who's now at less than half HP. As EDG don't have the health bars to work with, but Ala, it's all down to you, buddy. He has no flash available. They know he's lurking somewhere, but as he gets the ulti in, they're all in. Explosion card separates Ala. You may have just done it. As RA now going to be fearful of the poke. Cube taking a lot from Leave as Meiko getting disjointed as well, but Jiejie can't save him. The president is down, and the Secret Service just weren't anywhere nearby.
It's a 1-for-1, and EDG might just be able to pick up this tower on the backside as well, so it's technically a tough trade for their side. They stopped the Baron, they managed to get themselves Leyan as well. And I think we're going to approach a point where Elder's just going to be a factor. There's only 2 more minutes left until it spawns up. Get a replay, and Arla just consistently looking for the flank, and I have to commend RA for constantly trying to track him, but once he doesn't appear on that ward, you have to be so fearful that he's still here and waiting, and double ult comes in, stun as well to follow up. Great flash from Sssum to get out the combo. Leon's always just going to die there. And the turnaround is able to come through at the very least. There's more poke comes over the wall from Lee, from FoFo, and that's going to just continually be a thing. Unfortunately, that wolf, it's just in the way. It just can't quite save Meiko, shall we say, as Jiejie is slowly but surely stopped on that body slam.
It's like when, you know, in the Matrix, when Trinity falls down the building the first time, I guess it's Neo's dream. So he gets saved, she lands into the car. Neo wants to do something about it. Very specific. You haven't seen the Matrix by now. Come on, guys. It came out in the 2000s. I will say, at 29 minutes into the game, we are fighting not only over this Baron, but Elder's coming up in about a minute. Times might coincide as EDG now on the opposite side of the rift. RA the ones hovering down towards the spawning Elder. And Jamada, that poke from Sssum. If that connects right now, I'm more scared of it than I am of League's poke here on this Varus.
Yeah. If a binding connects, if a headshot follows through, it's just so much to deal with. However, you can see still EDG's isn't nothing to scoff at, as FoFo finds another shock blast onto Leyan, and he's just gonna have to be making a reset now. So this is potentially a window for EDG to try and sneak in to this river and push some vision their way. And if RA are the ones that actually have to approach the fight, things can get a little bit, you know, it's going to have to be a meticulous approach from RA, because the front line is very limited. And if they're the ones that has to walk through, you know, chokes, through, you know, barrels, shot blasts, arrows, if someone has to tank up any form of CC, they get CC to death, potentially. So this is really good for EDG. I would even consider just letting this mid wave go entirely, just for the position. And you can already see more poke being layered into Southwind. Meiko.
Oh, this is dangerous. Oh, 2-man ulti. It's huge. Southwind laying on. Southwind is gone. Southwind is the one who's been blasting out the damage. One of the core carries, it feels like, for RA. That's huge.
Yeah, I mean, the Baron is up and available, and it seems like RA are just going to make this gambit, but I feel like the Elder's going to be able to be bursted down quick enough, and potentially EDG will make it over. There's teleports available from Ala and FoFo as well, so once this Elder drops, they've got somewhere to TP to. There you go. Either side of the map. Even if this Baron goes down, the collapse is going to come through, surely.
Oh my god, I'm not hungry, but this sandwich looks delightful. It's going to be a smite down, but they're on the wrong side of the map, and they're about to fight a team with an Elder Dragon. EDG were looking close, but are right now into the bellies of the beast. Leyan trying his drive, gets knocked in! No! He finds it! FoFo, you demon!
Oh my goodness me, the Eclipse Shield and the Execute coming clutch at the right time. And FoFo is able to make it out of that one. Now with Elder Dragon in pocket, you have to imagine EDG are going to try their damnedest to collect as much as they can from RA structures.
That was everything with FoFo finding a beautiful kill with RA getting distraught on the way out of the Baron. This Baron just being used to buy time and survive the Elder. Look at the replay. Jamada, these health bars were not in favor of RA.
No, they were not. I mean, look, Strive gets one shot. And then, obviously, we've got Cube in the GA, but we just need to see the Leon fight, maybe. How does FoFo get away with this? Because the Cocoon... Did the Cocoon even connect? I'm not entirely sure. God. Either way, it's just so much damage at this stage in the game. 3-item Jayce. I'm not sure if he had that Dirk before the reset or not. Likely not, but either way, 3-item Jayce. It's what you're going to expect in the means of damage. Now, fortunately, there's a lot of wave clear on the side of RA. So EDG, it's going to be kind of difficult to siege unless they can chunk health bars. Like that.
Yeah, that makes it difficult. I mean, Southwind at half HP and the Elder still having 35 seconds. Top left, folks. That timer is everything for EDG to try and close out the game. The final spark used to clear the wave out, but wait for these shock blast combos onto the back line. FoFo hits Sssum, and he's threatened enough to just leave leave the base wide open as it is now.
Yeah, that'll be the first inhibitor. 15 seconds, they might just about be able to squeeze out. The second inhibitor's worth for it as well. And then at that point, it would feel quite difficult for RA, but they're just going to back away. RA just reposition, come back from all of the poke. So they don't lose 2 inhibitors, but that mid lane inhibitor's open. And now they're always going to have to be worrying about that bottom side pressure for the next 5 minutes from the side of RA. EDG kind of throwing a bit of a lifeline. It's been a very messy game for them. But picking up that Elder has definitely brought them back into contention.
Well, they've been able to claw back, you know, so much so that 4,000 gold on the top of the standings, but 2,000 almost as a negative Baron power play for RA. They were the ones that decided to play the flip once Southwind got destroyed. And then EDG, as you were saying, you know, we're kind of waiting for this moment where their poke is so meaningful here, Jamada, where they're able to play that spacing game yet again, which seems to be the kind of the theme of EDG series so far. And especially with FoFo here on this Jayce, he's getting close towards his 4th item. He has been the cornerstone of EDG this split, where other members like Meiko have been talked up. You know, Leave joining the squad, Arla hyped up in the past, of course, and Jiejie's still there. But FoFo, someone we know who has a huge ceiling, and in the past couple of series especially, I feel like FoFo has been a star.
Yeah, he's really been a massive step up for the side of EDG, and it has been very, very pleasant to see, right? Again, Scout, home brand name for so long for the side. And you know, he's stepping into the shoes of world champion, effectively. It's very difficult to meet those expectations sometimes, but stepping up for the EDG side this game hasn't really been much an exception to that rule either.
No doubt.
Right now, they're just trying to move forward together. As another shock blast lands, there you go.
Flashes out, and just like that, again, Southwind has to go back to base. Leyan almost dies. Arla is ferrying a wave into mid lane. In EDG, it's not perfect sync here, but there will be pressure in 2 lanes at once. In fact, maybe it is 3rd wave coming through in the bottom side as well. And Arla, as he continues to push in, RA have to make a choice here, Jamada.
Yep, they do. Do they defend mid lane inhibitor, or do they try and pick on this 4? That's a massive amount of poke onto Meiko, which could just send EDG away. Even though this Mega Gnar is up and available, I think the safer option for EDG is just to take a reset. You've got both the Uber buffs spawning in roughly 70, 80 seconds time, respectively. So just be on the map for both of those. Be full HP, let these supers do their work on the bottom side and slowly pressure in. Even if this wave gets cleared out, you know, 2-3 waves have to get cleared before RA can kind of be relieved of that pressure for at least, you know, sort of a minute.
God, it has been a while, but yeah, we're getting some shield reaving coming through from FoFo and Leave. Again, this is definitely the game to do so with the amount of shields that are available on RA. But that's the amount of damage. We're at 4 items here for these 2 poke ADs. On Strive, who's got us on his Hourglass plus so much health, it's still doing so much. As Jiejie pokes his head over, and next to Elder, this is where they want to get down and dirty. They find the poke. Strive comes from left field. Tibbers just wants a bear hug. And luckily enough, Leave was able to give it to him.
Yeah, Leave just didn't have a cleanse available to get out of the chain CC. potentially flash away. Excellent play from Strive, and the follow-up is superb from the rest of RA. Now it's a 4v5 for the next couple of minutes. Yeah, I mean, this is the problem though. Ala stretching the map. He's going to take this mid lane inhibitor. He's got a wave to work with on the bottom side. Is he just going to hit the Nexus towers here? Two members back.
Okay. We're going full 2023 vision here as players are showing us that they're going to be fighting over both. That's Dominus Use, that's Strive at base, that's Elder now that is going to be contested as heavily. But remember, those Rift Gates are there. As Ala's trying to build up Mega Bar again, but he sees Cube without the ult. He has the flash available to zone him out as they go all in into the pit. Ala not there with the Mega Nar as Meiko's getting destroyed. Cube now finds the flank as FoFo has to flash away as RA are winning this fight, but Ala turns to Mega Nar only getting one. Elder now up for the taking as EDG have just lost all control, all semblance of balance. Royal are here, but I'm not talking about Royal never give up. I'm talking about no way! From the brink of talking up this team, EDG just steal it away as FoFo teleported in. I was saying this team was back in. I was calling them Royals, but they won't be. As Strive goes back to base and RA stop the game from ending. We are still here on Summoner's Rift.
It's an ace for RA, but oh my god, at what cost? They almost lose both their Nexus towers. The Elder Dragon stolen away from Jiejie.
You lose Baron.
They'll lose the Baron. Okay, that's the downside for this sequence of plays. And I don't think anyone actually walked away with the Elder itself. Now, the most comical sequence would be Meiko stealing this. But it's not April 1st. That's still about a month away.
Jamada. No replay.
No
replay.
Well, unfortunately, this fight starts off. Yeah, well, there's a picture. We know what's happening now, don't we?
Oh, Meiko's dead. Yeah,
Meiko's dead. And unfortunately, as that replay comes out, the nature of it is very simple. Arlott doesn't manage to get on top of Sssum, and as he's unable to flash and use that ultimate to try and knock down the carries of RA, the carries of RA go on a bit of a rampage in front of that dragon. Unfortunately for EDG, I guess they just have the stronger jungle this night.
Apparently they do. Again, at least today, just doing dividends. Arla is 4 items strong, and he took half his HP. That's a full build. Caitlyn Strive not getting Tibbers, but at least getting the clan's final spark going to be hit as Tibbers is on a mission. Hail of Arrows slows it down as Leave has to go back to base, but RA want to try and push the fight while they had this Elder buff. Jamada, they are looking with hunger in their eyes to take us to a game 3 off the brink of a TP, off of a game that should have been theirs, but bringing it back in. It's not against the wall, but Leyan is almost going to die. They can't finish the job, but Sssum is poked down. It is yakety sack. It is the LPL. RA, go back with your tail between your legs.
Oh, the
War gates are coming through. Meiko, Arla, and Leave. The boys are back in town, but Thin Lizzie's on the other side of the map.
Oh, EDG were cooking. They were cooking something with that flank potentially for RA.
Yeah, they were.
You get vision of where everyone's going, so they just opt to go towards the top side of the map. My goodness me, that very almost sent us to a game number 3. But fortunately, FoFo got so much damage out on the bottom side, and Leave was able to escape despite being bound up. I don't think Cube was able to find Lethal. I think it was Cube that was trying to get on top of him. And the rest of RA just kind of warded off by the potential threat of damage that was available to EDG.
All right, everyone, have a bit of a plink, sit down, have a breather, because we've had 2 Elders in this game go down. We've had 2 Barons in this game go down, or 3, I can't remember anymore. It's not that long of a game, but it has just exploded out of left field. And Jamada, it's now your turn to tell me and the rest of the audience out there watching this barn burner, what wins this game for either team?
All right. I think Strive has really been the key man here so far for RA, and if he can find another massive Tibbers flash, then I really feel like EDG might be found a little bit out of sorts. And for EDG, I mean, FoFo's just been on a bit of a tear so far. I think if he's given any kind of access to the back line, he's just going to delete them. But the problem is RA have done such a good job at bodyguarding Sssum for a majority of this game that potentially it could actually come from this man on your screen. EDG, Arla on a side lane, or maybe just finds another massive Gnar ult. He found one earlier, which kind of broke up the sequence. I think it was about 15 minutes ago at this point.
Yeah.
From RA. But if you can find another one, that can definitely win EDG this game.
Well, I want to take notice of the builds because we are getting towards full for Strive. He's 1 more to go here on this Annie. EDG, maybe it's not the time to talk about that because Cube has gone deep for this. He has GA available. Slowed down for the time being as EDG are looking for that rotation from RA. They have full jungle control, but Jiejie's going to be over reward. While RA come back out of base, there's no objectives available, but it's just a simple fight for the pick, for the win, for the 2-0, all 1-all. RA need this win desperately. This is the difference between maybe this team going to playoffs or not in the near future, or the difference between EDG being a top 3 team going into lock-ins. Remember, our format, top 2, means you go straight to semifinals, straight to the double elim if we continue the same format as previous splits. This is an important match for EDG as well. Here to open up week 7 as picks are trying to be found. Look at this angle. Look at this angle. Sssum going in onto Jiejie. Strive is trying to play the Annie, Tibbers, multi-man stun, game-winning Bazinga, who let them cook angle, you know? And right now, he's trying to play around that vision well.
Yeah, he's got the death cap. Honestly, I've lost track of how long he's maybe had that in his inventory for.
Me too.
But the end point is, he's going to bloody one-shot someone if he unlocks a combo on them. So EDG needs to continuously track that. And again, the importance for this series for both these two teams, right? EDG, they can't really afford to be dropping games to teams that are barely looking at playoffs. And RA, this could be the difference maker. If they can somehow scrape a win against a team like EDG, their chances of making it into that top 10 increase significantly.
And this series is looking like RA have been the better in the past 10 minutes. The damage from Sssum hurts Sleep, hurts Jiejie. They have to back away. Even with the Hex Tech Soul, the AoE damage is catching up as EDG have to come back out on the map. Luckily have the Hex Riff available. But 10 seconds ago as Meiko walks up, Solar Flare now utilized. Elder's there as Arla is bringing the attention of FoFo down with him. They want Cube, they want his GA. But can they get it? Shock Blast is out of range. Southwind and Stripe are there to respond as the map is split wide open.
It really is. And Sssum is a bit of a 1v9 machine right now. Just continually stepping up, getting massive chunks out of members of EDG. Now they're on top of the dragon. Here are the TPs.
Oh! Stripe! Oh my god, he got gone! Out of nowhere, and he may be 8 years old, but the absolute power of a goddess comes through. The 300-year-old wisdom, it feels like, is now Meiko's gonna die. Click, click, boom! 3 down, EDG are distraught, and Strive pilots this champion that would make LF proud.
He is smiling, I'm sure, if he's watching this game. And EDG, they might just end up losing this game here. I think with the Elder, are Arla and FoFo gonna look for the back door? It looks like they will, but Strive is gonna go back and defend, and so is Southwind. This game's going definitely to the side of RA, and this series is somehow gonna go the distance, surely. Here's the teleport.
They're trying, but with Elder, it's just too hard. Cube is going to take him down now for FoFo running back to base, but Sssum just wants his credit, his dues, when at 45 minutes, RA were back and forth. EDG looked short for a 2-0, but RA looked him in the face and say, not today.
They stand up strong, especially after that game number 1 being so one-sided in the favor of EDG. RA come back with a little more vim, a little more energy in this one, and you know, we kind of debated about the potential teamfight potential from EDG's composition when you sort of move past the 25-minute mark.